three-time NBA champion who is now deep into the League of Legends, the most played PC game in the world, over 100 million active players, and the League of Legends eSports, 14 professional leagues worldwide. Man who's wearing the Echo Fox gear right now, Rick Fox.
Yeah.
Look
Rich,
at you.
I know.
Look at you like a millennial right now.
I know, right?
You're like part Dr. Bus, part like, you know,
well, look,
kiddo.
if I could get a percentage of what Dr. Bus has been to the professional ownership world of sports, I would be humbled.
How did
by
you
that.
get involved with all of this?
Well, I just a passion and a love for video games to begin with. I mean, I cut my teeth as a competitor playing video games before I even found the basketball, so that started there. Played video games throughout my life, introduced them to my son. It's how we spent time together. And then he introduced me to a whole world that had started to evolve around the video game industry, where developers like Riot and League of Legends had created leagues where players were actually making a living being a professional players.
Right.
And so I went to a live event in Madison Square Garden about 3 years ago and took it in, you know, an arena that I'd played many times before, and got the chills and saw the crowd, sold out crowd, and fell in love with it.
So, you know, so many people who haven't been to one of these events or don't know about it don't take it seriously.
Right.
Okay, because
So
it's
true.
video gaming, right? But, I mean, video games, when video games are released, it makes more money than movies make an entire year. Maybe even all of movies together
This
make
is
an
true.
entire year.
Yeah.
So it's a serious big business, to
It
say
is.
the least. How would you get involved as an owner? Was it somebody who invited you in, or you said, I want in as an owner?
Right.
I mean,
Well, the barrier of entry a few years back was a little easier than it is today. I mean, franchises today sell for $20, $30 million. I had an opportunity through, like I said, just an experience I had at Madison Square Garden that led me to go on the journey to find out what it would take to become a League of Legends owner. And it was at that time that I bought a slot, like basically buying an expansion team that wasn't doing so well. And I came in, took over that slot, and became an owner. Very quickly, I realized I had to get a coach and get a facility and get players and negotiate contracts. And
did you like that?
yeah, it was invigorating. It was overwhelming. It gave me a true sense of what it meant to be an owner in sports. It's one thing to be on the field of play. It's another thing to be the behind scenes, helping execute that. Graciously and gratefully, I had a lot of partnerships and help in that area.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd never run an organization before, so I learned quick on the job, but I had a lot of help doing it.
Okay. Is it difficult handling talent, Rick?
Yes, it can be, especially when you come from up the road here with the Lakers, where, you know, the expectations are championship level. So you leave that arena and you expect to win championships in a new arena.
Yeah.
And it's not that easy. You know, when you talk about the understanding of what this world is and the importance of how serious it is not only my life as an owner, but it's a group of players who I'm a steward of their professional career, per se. I got to shepherd them through not only becoming pros and learning how to be a pro, because it is in a lot of ways a new industry, right? I have to shepherd them into learning how to become champions. And that requires them understanding, yes, they have talent, yes, they have the skill, and they're putting in the repetition to develop the mastery of it. But, you know, there's the on-field and there's the off-field, right? There's the in-game and out-of-game. And if you don't understand how to handle your money and understand how to handle the critics and how to be a good teammate and how to be coachable, all those things that go with any traditional sports, then you're going to probably be out of a job.
Rick Fox here on the Rich Eisen Show. No names here, though. I mean, because you know, having been a player for as long as you were in the association, there's always those teammates or players where an owner or ownership would just roll their eyes. Like, you got to be kidding me. I got to deal with this. What's the craziest story of you having to deal with a gamer?
Well, no names,
Yes.
but you know, when you are coming up in the gaming industry, depending on your choice of game, a lot of times you hone those skills in a solo atmosphere, right? Where you hone them as if you were out in the gym shooting your shots, getting your shots up, but then you're a part of a team environment, so you have to learn how to interact with other people.
You're not on your couch in the basement anymore.
Yeah, or anywhere, right? I mean, today's with technology today, you can play games on your phone. You can play them on your laptop.
And against anybody anywhere.
Against anywhere in the world. And I think that's what has created the accessibility and the technology has created the growth at such a rapid pace. But I had a young man that went from player and became a coach. And he'd never been a coach before, so in all fairness to him, I've had some great coaches, Dean Smith, Phil Jackson. I've had some of the legends of the game. So my expectation level for this young man to evolve into a great coach was, the standards were high.
Poor guy.
And it was unfair at first, but I very quickly learned that, if he was going to be the coach I needed him to be,
yes,
I was going to have to impart some of this coaching wisdom that I've had in my life onto this young man. Well, sure enough, I think I tried to get him there a little too fast, and it was a little overwhelming for him. And quite frankly, I remember coming in one day, and I was looking for him to be in there early, like most coaches will get in at 6 and watch film and be ready to go and get the guys going. And I said, "Where's the coach at?" And he says, "Oh, he's not here right now." I go, "Where's he at?" And they went to social media and they pulled it up, and he was checking in on the ride at Harry Potter at Universal. I turned to my guy and said, he's got a job. He's a coach now. What is he doing at Universal? And my friend looked at me and he said, "Have you not seen the big billboard down on Lancashire where Harry's pointing to like the ride?" He's like, "You can't blame him." And I said, "Well, okay, I got to talk to him about this." But he made great strides the rest of the year, and it's just it's getting the understanding of the seriousness of this, right? I mean, there's the average player in this league makes $333,000 a year with multiple year contracts, so you're making a living. And so there's responsibilities that come with that. Coaches don't fall too far behind that.
Yeah.
And these are young men and women who make up this industry who are learning about, the traditional sport model. But the eSports model is a model in its own. And if you don't make it to the top, I mean, like you said, there's 100 million players, right?
Yeah.
There's about 1,000 pros globally. And so that's a small percentage. But if you don't make that, just like the NBA or MLB and NFL, you can be a coach, a GM, an agent, a journalist. You can cover it all and be a part of the world.
Unless you go to Harry Potter ride.
Unless you go to Harry Potter.
He went 4 corners on you, right?
He did. He was a great stall delay. He was holding out. He was withholding his coaching skills.
Rick Fox here, owner of Echo Fox in the League of Legends, joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so LeBron coming here is a no-brainer, right? I mean, like he built for this town at this very moment, for this Lakers franchise, post-Kobe, needing to get Fanny's back in the seats. Yep. Magic Johnson shopping for the groceries with Rob Pelinka, right? Perfect.
I used to say it's on paper, right? It's all there, but now it's not on paper. It's actually in that building up the street. He is actually here. I've seen it on social media. There's proof, right?
Yes, that's right.
So I'm happy. The town's been waiting for him. I mean, any town would have been waiting for him to show up, but I think we're the town that's right for him. Not only for him to bring his talents and drag a young team and maybe players that are still trying to find a consistent home to a level that I think can be warranted of what Laker fans are used to seeing. And it's going to take his leadership. It's going to take his commitment, but we know that already about him. And I think what's best for him now is that after the game is done for him, he's in the right city based on the things he wants to do in his career, things he's doing already.
He's doing it already. Yeah. I mean, it seems like every 2 days there's a project being announced here in this town that's Spring Hill Entertainment with him and Maverick Carter and what they're doing. So there's that. I mean, how do you think all the youngins on this roster are going to fare with him? I mean, because eventually games are going to have to be played here.
Yes.
And we're going to have to see this all play out. Rajon Rondo and having Lonzo Ball competition, it seems to be.
Competition's good. It's healthy, especially when you're young. It pushes you. I think sometimes you can get a crop of young, really talented players that can find themselves in an organization, a franchise. Yes, the pressure alone here in LA is great, but they can find themselves maybe with an expectation of minutes, an expectation because they look around and they see that they're the future. But I think some of them have grown, but LeBron is going to provide them an opportunity, just like Kobe did on his way out, I think, to give them a snapshot of the work ethic. He will raise their level of play, but he will demand of them that they suit up and show up and work at it at a level. Or I'd like to think, at a certain point you get opportunity, but then opportunity will pass you by if you don't make the most of it.
So would you think Lonzo Ball is the real deal? Do you think?
Well, I've seen a year, and I like all that is that is there in the talent department.
But
you're
going up an octave. You're going up an octave and giving
enough,
your comment.
Right? It's hard to heap praise. I come from the era where you don't really heap praise on rookies. You don't really project out. But this is a different generation. There's a lot of of expectation and projection of the greatness before it actually arrives, and maybe sometimes that helps with confidence. But in the area of our young players, I'd like to see them earn that, and I'd like to see them improve, and that's what the summer's for. So I know he had some surgery, and I know. Do I doubt that he's putting in the work? No, because I think when you see a LeBron James as a teammate, and you see some of the other veterans that are coming in, you understand that you're going to have to earn your minutes regardless of last season.
Well, here's the issue too, Rick. Rick Fox here at the Rich Eisen Show. There's that team up north that just seems to be unbeatable. Absolutely unbeatable. Yeah. How would you deal with that if you were in the NBA right now? Taking up where you know that there's another team that maybe you're not on. Right. That everybody thinks is unbeatable and has proven to be as such. How do you deal with something like that?
Well, you tap into the fact that every season is a new season, which brings a lot of moving pieces. They do right now, again, defending champions look as strong as can be. They had Boogie Cousins. But they are now going to be heading into, I think, a 5th year if they make it to June and into the finals. I know how taxing that is. I know how difficult that is. Now the roster's deep, so it does, it gives Steve Kerr the flexibility of, really parsing out those minutes responsibly throughout the season. The skill and the talent levels there off the charts. So yes, they pose a difficult road to get by them, but it's not insurmountable. It really isn't. Some team, we saw what Houston was doing last year. Some team will rise to a level where they represent a challenge.
Are the Lakers that team?
Not right now, not today. But 82 games is a long way. And I wouldn't bet against LeBron James putting them in a position. And the reason I say that is, when I saw what he did last year as a leader to that Cavalier team that literally blew up their roster in the middle of the season, I thought there was no way they would make it to the finals. And I know it was the Eastern Conference, and you debate the conferences are weaker than the Western Conference, but he still was able to, like a chess master, figure out the pieces he had to work with and get those guys working for each other. And unfortunately, he didn't have enough there with him, and they fell short. But even in falling short, I still saw signs of him continually to figure out
he was as great as he's ever been.
Yeah, and then that's
make that case.
That is amazing. I've seen the greats. I've played. I was Larry Bird's rookie and Kevin McHale's rookie, and that shows how old I am.
But how did that go?
It was amazing. It was Larry's last year. He had his back, and I watched him fight through his back challenges to get to the court every night. The preparation was there, so I watched and I got a look at what it meant to be a pro in the game. And and I spent some time with Mike from college days at Carolina, and so I saw the greats work, Kobe and Shaq. I saw the greats, mature and grow into their excellence. So it's there. They're going to get to see it in LeBron. LeBron is one of those guys. He can drag a group of men who are willing to actually follow. He can drag them to really championship level.
And I am mandated to ask you this question to wrap up our association chat, Rick, is the sports talk radio hot button subject of Michael or LeBron. Who's the GOAT?
Right. I don't know how you deny either, first of all. It would have been a blessing to see them in the same era, but it's also a blessing that we've had 40 years of amazing basketball.
Kobe in between.
With Kobe in between, and Shaq. Like I played with both two great players. So it's hard for me not to acknowledge what I've witnessed LeBron do the last few years when you talk about the consistency of world championship appearances. He's won 3, I think it is, and maybe that the loss column might stack up in the debate against him at some point. But I think he's going to probably play for another 5-6 years. I hope in a Laker uniform, and I think he will start to knock down some of the all-time great records individually in the game. That coupled with having won championships and MVPs, I don't know how you deny him as the greatest ever at that point. And I think he's making a great case off the court too, to be, that ambassador going forward throughout the rest of his life.
And with Team Echo Fox as the owner, we've already talked about the interesting personalities as the gamers, if not the coaches. Is there a LeVar Ball in eSports?
I was darn near close as an owner for a minute. I had to slow down. Yes, I mean, there's the same parents and support staff of girlfriends and wives are, maybe not so much wives quite yet, but girlfriends exist in our game. They are as supportive and as passionate about their players.
Do they give their 2 cents?
Oh yeah, they chime in. You know, social media is huge in society as it is, but if you go to lolesports.com and you want to find out more about esports, you'll find that the World Championships start on October 1st,
and it is Seoul,
South Korea, and so we're excited about that, and it'll be.
So you'd rather talk about that than LeVar Ball?
Well, no, look, LeVar is LeVar has his show on.
Do the gamers' parents take their children to Lithuania to get better?
No, they go to Korea. They go to Korea and they travel the world. Look, esports is global. It's really global.
It is. There's no joke.
This league itself has over 100 professional teams globally, and so 16 of them will get to compete for the championship over the next 21 days, starting October 1st, and there'll be 80 million people watching that championship.
Unbelievable.
Last year in China, they filled the Olympic Stadium, 100,000 people watching this. So when you think about that, right, and it is not to compete with traditional sports. I think it just has a seated entertainment and sports in general and competition. It's a part of the ecosystem.
Yeah. And who was the best gamer when you were playing? I imagine, what was it, an NBA?
We played a lot of Madden.
Okay,
we played a lot of Madden to release ourselves.
Football.
Yeah.
Who was the best at it?
Were you Derek and Brian Shaw, myself and Rob, we all kind of played. I don't know if we ever made it through to a who was the best.
Okay.
But guys play a lot more today. I mean, the Yankees are partners of our organization, and I went out to training camp, and Aaron Judge and Bird and these guys play games like constantly. They grew up on it, so they don't know. They didn't come out from our era, right? Which is put down the controller, get out of the house, right? You didn't know as a parent where gameplay led, right? But Rich, if I told you today, League of Legends has over 800 kids on scholarship at universities getting an education, and some of those players are now playing professionally in our league, 2 of them going to the World Championships this month, then you realize there's a path to pro, and then you think to yourself, okay, well, my son wanted to be a pro. He's not a pro, but we know what he's doing. He's game designing. So he's a part of the industry in a way that still allows him to be passionate about what he loves.
Well, congrats on being an owner. The gear that you're wearing is pretty sweet, too. How do people get this gear?
I got to send you some.
Okay. The Echo Fox gear. I love the logo. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's
fox and flames and all that sort of stuff, it looks like, but it's an actual fox. It looks sweet, man.
Thanks, man.
Congrats on that. And congrats on your success in your newest act with the League of Legends with Echo Fox. And come back.
I will,
Please
Richard.
come back anytime.
You got an amazing set, man.
I appreciate that.
I ought to get on the golf putting and get some putts going.
Yeah, we'll do that. Well, anytime. Work on your putting game here anytime you want. Right. By the way, I think I saw the other day on Twitter, it was the 41st anniversary of the Atari joystick coming out.
Love it.
Because that's what I'm talking about.
See, that's what 2600.
I was Space Invaders and all that. Is that your first game?
That's our era. Yeah, that's our era. Pong was
my brother and I. We had the Telestar Pong where we would play each other, and it was nasty.
Yeah.
It was really nasty.
Think about how competitive you were then, right?
Now we are. So you're saying now I can get a scholarship on Pong? Is there a Pong scholarship?
I don't know if there's one for Pong, but there's one for League of Legends.
Great. I can't
Check it out.
Fantastic. Rick Fox is here.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.